Exclamation buddy, and welcome to Code Romantic. It is by Pretty Smart Games and is currently released, I believe, out on Steam for 10% off at $8.99 US. Normally it is $10 US. I admit to being a little bit apprehensive about this one. I like to play games that have programming concepts in them, and this one appears to also be one that's kind of like teaching programming and stuff. But it's wrapped up in some sort of dating sim or visual novel. I'm not quite sure which. It sounds like it's some sort of dating sim thing. Which not really my genre of game, but since it's got the programming concepts in it, I'm like, let me just give it a shot and see how it does that anyway. See how it does that part. The rest, I'm gonna be I'll let it be the way it is, I guess. I haven't played any of this yet, so I have no idea, honestly, what I'm getting into. Let's do X mode, slow, normal, fast. Highlight correct. Well, that looks fine to me. Character select. Okay, I guess that was the character select. Hello? Hello? Wake up. Mina, baby, what are you up to? Mama, I want to know why you stare at this so much. I've been asking nicely, but it won't wake up. Oh yeah? Hold on a second. Let Mama put these rations away and I'll be right there. Rations, eh? Okay, hurry. Wake up, I'm poking you. Hack slate, can you feel it? You want to play with a hack slate? Yeah. First thing is, you have to let the hack slate know who you are. I'm going to ask it to make you a new user, then you're going to say your name. Got it? Got it. Hack slate, create a new user named? Nah. Wait a moment. It worked. Now what? Hack slate, tell me a story. Right. Sorry, honey, I can't do that yet. Want to see what you can do with it? I'll tell you a story afterwards, okay? Okay. Touch that area of the screen, the big rectangle. Center editor window. Great, all you have to do is touch a screen like that and it'll sense it, okay? What the hell is going on outside? Mama, you're not paying attention. Sorry, let's try something with your radio. Alright, it's ready. Hack slate, open remote link. Huh? I can't remember what this word means. That's okay. I forget what things mean sometimes too. Well, I designed this over here. It's called a dictionary window. When you touch something, more information about it shows up there. You can easily remind yourself what something means. Can I try? Of course. Touch some of these words and try it out. Oh, okay. News. News radio station. History. Classical radio. Okay. And we got submit here. Alright. History. I get it now. Yay, nice job. Oh, the next part started. See that different colored section? Why don't you try touching that? The color order changes its value. Classical. History. That's right, you can touch these sections to change them. We can choose the radio station by tapping until we see the one we want. Then it'll run the code you're writing and start playing. What's code? What you're looking at, honey. What we use to talk to machines. But machines are bad. They took Daddy away. Wow, okay. That's the thing. Machines are bad, but sometimes you have to understand things that are bad. If we can learn how they work, we can protect ourselves from them. Daddy was lost to EverQuest. And the hack slate can't become dangerous, I promise. Okay. Go ahead, change it to the station you want, then press the button to submit your choice. Okay, well, change it to history. The play radio, sleep timer. Sleep timer -1. Yeah. What's with this? There it was again. Did you hear something? I hear my radio. Yeah, that must be it. Hey, baby girl, I'll show you one more thing. If you ever need to take a break while you're working, like a pause, just look it up. Just look up. Look up? Yeah, let your eyes wander up. And suddenly you might discover new options, like a pause button. Okay, I'll try. Oh, did you know I read faster than everyone in the whole class? Do you? That's great. Yeah, my teacher says next week we're going to read this book about puppies. Don't make a sound, Mina. We're going to play the quiet game. The freak is going on? What in the hell? No, not here. What is it? I'm scared. Shh, it's okay. There's something dangerous nearby. So far it doesn't know we're here. It looks like a dragon. It's an aware. Or atware. Or one of those. I have to lure it away from us. Machines try to find us by heat signature. That's why I cut the power to the neighborhood. We only have a few minutes before our body heat registers. Need to set up some kind of reaction elsewhere. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm mostly talking to myself, dear. Go down under the table. Watch Mama for a minute while I set up the power structure for a neighborhood. I made sure there was a way to distribute the electrical power equally to each house. If I change the hash code, all the power should go to the empty house down the road. Everything's going to be fine. Cover your ears. Yes, it worked. Follow the fire, and I hope you burn with it, monster. I hate machines. I hate them. Oh, baby. I know, but we took care of it, didn't we? That was so scary. Yes, we had to protect ourselves. What the frig is going on? I'll board up the windows and heat-proof the house exterior. Hey, I forgot. I got you something. There's this boy helping out at work. Here he is posing as a soldier. Wow. His name is Leon, and he lost his dad and his mom because of the machines. His dad and his mom? That's so sad. Now, Leon travels across the Americas telling a story to encourage us to never give up. I bought one of his posters for you. See, we're not alone, though it sometimes seems that way. Is he brave? Oh, yes, just like you. And you, Mom, you're the bravest. Yeah, I guess. We'll fight the dragons together, right? Right, we'll get them, baby, together. 15 years later. What the frig? Okay, chapter 2. And that's when the horrible, totally scary and violent construction bot came crashing through our neighborhood. My heart was pounding wildly in my chest. We were doomed. I was too scared to even cry. Luckily, Mrs. Lovelace knew exactly how to save us. Lovelace. Okay. She remembered that the Atware rely on heat sources. With a few lines of code, she overrode the power system in the old Sawyer lot and distracted it until it left. What do we learn from this story? Learn that it's very important to remember how to use variables, right? Right? Okay, if that's what you got out of that. Sure. Hey, are you even paying attention? We're trying to, Mrs. Lovelace. But it's just so boring. I want to take apart your radio again. And I want to play with the aqua pistols. Spoiled brats. I tried so hard to make it interesting that time. We'll do all that soon, but this really is important. When I was little, things were different. I would play outside during the day and ride my bike to the park. One time we even took a plane to a beach town. Planes are real? They used to be, but the point isn't the planes. The point is it all changed. We have to be careful now. Even if some of this stuff is boring, you might need it one day. It's like me and my mom, I mean Mrs. Lovelace, needed it in my story. Plus, your parents are paying me good rations for this, okay? Okay, Miss Lovelace, it would be sad if you starve because of some dumb variables. Yeah, but then we can have the aqua pistols back. It's a deal. Start with a refresher on semicolons. Yep, the bane of every programmer's existence. Semi, huh? Okay, less of a refresher and more of a complete repeat. See that symbol with a dot and a comma? It's a semicolon. When you write, you put a period at the end of a sentence. When you code, you put a semicolon at the end of a statement. This is about punctuation? Machine punctuation, because we need a way to tell the computer when to finish an action. Technically, we need to tell the compiler when to finish an action, but okay, fine. And machines refuse to understand you if you don't use proper syntax or grammar. No, that is true. I want you to use the hack slate to change the code so all the statements are correct. Trust me on this, it sounds easy to remember, but it's also easy to forget. I got it. Put a semicolon at the end of the statement. Let me at it. Okay. Oh, is this what it's going to be? You can't actually, you can't actually type them in. You have to click them. Okay, sure. I guess that's one way to teach people. It wasn't so hard, was it? Ooh, I'm so good at this. I'm going to take your job soon. But that I have no doubt. Are we ever going to be done? I feel like we've been sitting here forever. Dude, try doing that for 8 hours. Ronan, you just got here. Don't worry, there's only a few more. Alright, next up is equal signs. Your math teacher's going to be mad at me because this is a bit different than what she teaches. It's okay. I don't even like my math teacher. Lame. Math is so lame. Well, and in math, the equal sign means that both sides are equal. And sometimes you add up the left side to fill in a blank on the right side. In programming, it's almost the other way around. On the left side, we have a variable, kind of like a bucket that can hold anything of the same type. The word you see is a variable name. You want to set it to the value of whatever's on the right. Those variables can change during the program. They are very flexible and can work with lots of possibilities. Not bad for a bucket. So it's all about taking what's on the right and placing it on the left. Right, everything in between equal sign and a semicolon. And the two sides will be equal to each other, but only after the statement is finished. Let's try to fix more punctuation. I'm willing to accept this challenge. Only if it means I get to throw it in the face of my math teacher. I would rather you didn't do that. Ronan, just answer the problem. Okay, well, you need a semicolon there. And you need an equal sign here. Number of classes equals 15. Or... Got it! It wasn't even that hard. See? Learning is fun. Tell that to the math teacher. Any questions so far? What was university like? Huh? Why do you want to know that? Mom said you're really smart. She said you went away to this place called university that I should go to. Oh well, it was really fun. We smoked a lot of bongs and had wild, wanton sex and things. Oh, that's not what it says there. Okay, never mind. There aren't that many universities still around though. What did you want to study there? Oh, I know. I want to be a farmer. Dad says he's tired of being a fence mender and that the real money is in agriculture. Agriculture. Pissing off mobs. Agriculture. I think he meant agriculture, Ronan. What the? I need to get more sleep. I'm seeing things. Alright, let's move on to the next part. I'm going to talk about some of the variable types. So first up is integers, or sometimes just int. This is a number that doesn't have a decimal place. Doesn't. Does int. There's got to be a joke there. No. No, there really doesn't need to be a joke there. Please don't try to be funny. Fine, anyways, an example of an integer would be the number 20. It does have a fraction, we call it a float, a floating decimal. Like a what? Like if you have a number that has a fraction in it, think of fractions that float. If you're setting a float variable, you need to put a little letter f next to the number. Well, that's true. Fractions. Think of fractions like a float. Basically, if you have a fractional number, it's a float. I mean, I don't know what to try and do here. Don't give me that look. I don't make the rules. I just tell you about them. Next, you might see something like a boolean or a bool. This is kind of like a light switch. It's either true or false. Or in the case of Java, null. That one sounds like a skinny ghost. Now who's trying to be funny? I want you to try and match the types of variables I just told you about in these lines of code, okay? Hey, I want to do it. Go for it. I'll just rest my eyes for a bit. Ronan. So that's an integer. That is a float. And that is a boolean. I did it. I did it. Ronan, how was it? What? Watching my superior skills at work. Don't answer that, Ronan. There's no good outcome. You guys ready to have your snacks? I have some juice boxes left in the fridge. Eek. Wait a second. That Headmaster Bogart. What's he doing here? Hold on a sec, kids. Let me get him through the fences. My goodness, I know I haven't shaved in a few days, but I didn't know I'd gotten that hideous. Chill out, kids. I'm one of the good guys. Sorry, we're not used to visitors around here. You know this dude? Dude, huh? Ronan? Radika, this is one of my professors from when I was in university. Really? Hey, did Miss Lovelace mess up her variables too? I gotta know. Of course. Wait, I did? We all do, but she kept practicing until she was a variable expert. Or my name isn't Headmaster. Now go drink some Cult 45 malt liquor. I've seen her take out 15 metalheads at once. Cool! My mom says you're not supposed to use words like M-head, sir. Miss Lovelace, you've seen combat? Well, it was a training simulation. Yes, Miss Lovelace was my prodigy, the most talented in her year. But then she mysteriously dropped out of class. How very strange to find her back at her childhood home, teaching the neighborhood troublemakers. You're a badass and you didn't tell us? Ronan, that's a bad word too. It even has the word bad in it. He's right, Ronan. Let's not tell your parents that you said that. And I'm not sure if I'd say I was that amazing. What brings you here? Such a long way for you, isn't it? I've got a good reason. But hey, I've interrupted your lesson. You mind continuing? I'd like to see how your students do. Oh no, I'm not sure if I can handle the pressure. Alright, you'll do just fine. Let's show the headmaster what we can do, okay? We have a special guest joining us. We still have to do our work, right? Go over a couple more variable types. The last two we're going to talk about relate to the alphabet. You know the alphabet, right? Duh, I'm in 3rd grade. No offense was meant, just making sure. The variable is just one character by itself. It's called a char. If you want a word, a phrase, or sentence, you'll want to use a string. Like a string of letters. Right. Except in C, then you'll want an array of chars, because that's C for you. Right, one more thing. There's some more punctuation now. The character is enclosed with single quotation marks. The string uses double quotation marks instead. And the reason we do this is because without those marks, the computer will think that it's the name of a variable. And it will get confused if it can't find something with that name. Specifically, the linker will have the problem. But, well, not actually. The compiler, the precompiler would have a problem with that because that's what renders all the variables. But anyway, Ms. Lovelace, I'm beginning to think that I'm much smarter than the computer. At least I will be when I finish learning. Let's hope so. Ronan, do this one because I did the last one. Fine, I gotta do all the hard stuff around here. Okay, well that's a char. Now that is a string. Last initial would be just a single quote. And the last name would be a double quote. I mean, I see what they're doing, and it's certainly the basics. I don't know if I would make it so I guess clicking on things to make them the right thing. I guess that works. I don't know. I was kind of hoping for an editor to actually write things in, but let's just see what happens here. Finish. Check it out, Mr. Professor Dude. Nice work, kiddo. Oh, that deserved a swig of beer, I think. So what you think? About what, little one? Can I make it in university? Oh my, you've certainly got some great skills, little lady. Do you learn how to kill machines in university, sir? You're learning to kill machines right now, young man. That's why Amina's working so hard to teach you. Never forget that what makes us different from them is the very code you are learning to write. And Cult 45 malt liquor. Machine can be reprogrammed and a human cannot. No matter how much they want to be our equals, they will never be able to change that about themselves. The headmaster is also a member of the Human Defense Department, you know. He's out there protecting you and your families every day. Wow, like Leon Morgenstern. Have you ever met Leon Morgenstern, sir? I heard he once talked down a rogue tank bot until it self-destructed. I heard he helped deliver a baby in Kansas. And he taught a village of Seattle refugees to build a radio attachments out of junk. Is that so? I wonder who told you so much about Leon's various accomplishments. What? He's, very accomplished. Oh boy. And I happen to know a lot about his accomplishments, so why not tell them? My mom says Ms. Lovelace has never met Leon Morgenstern, but if she did, she would die of embarrassment. Oh, Radika, your mom. Let's just get back to the lesson, shall we? Talk about declaring a variable. In all our lessons, the type of variable was in the same statement. Yeah. You can also leave that part out if you've already done it earlier. Yeah. What do you mean, earlier? She is reading the code from top to bottom, so earlier would mean higher up. In other words, you gotta declare your variables, and then you can use them however you want, as long as they're still the same type. Just remember that the first time you mention a variable, you have to declare its type. Sometimes there are a couple other words in there to give more information, but we won't worry about them today. I'm ready. I want to end this day with an aqua pistol fight, so I gotta get it all done. Alright, so string class report. Yeah, they're just appending strings here. And they're doing a piss poor job of it too, because they haven't put any spaces here, so all this stuff is just going to run together. Okay, so you're going to put a double quote here and come back here. Come back here, double quote. There you go. And then this is going to be a string. No, it's going to be class report plus equals teacher. Lovelace, yeah. Which is all going to come out in one long string with no spaces in it. But sure, okay. Nailed it. Radika, I don't know if that counts as foul language or not, but please try to restrain yourself. It's the final lesson of the day. Are you excited or what? What? Set myself up for that one. Seriously though, we're going to briefly talk about objects. An object is something that has several variables within it. In this case, we're going to look at your report cards. We're going to do some object-oriented programming. Okay. What? Why? Can I change Radika's grades? No, it's just an exercise. Darn. We made an object called student, and we'll be filling it in together. Hey, Miss Lovelace, why does it say class here? Is that because we're in class right now? Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Another thing you'll notice is there's new punctuation here. When you see a period or a period, it goes between the name of an object and a variable within that object. So you know that the two are related. Give it a go. Class student. They declared a class with a name and an age to describe a student. You got student, you're creating a new student here, setting the name to Radika and setting the age 7. You got a new student here with a semicolon, Setting it to the name to Ronan, and you're setting the age to 8. There. That works. I did it! Now can I also ruin her grades? Hey! I think you should focus on your own grades, Ronan. Damn. That must be your parents. Head on home, okay? But the radio and the aqua pistols. Next time. Bummer. At least it was a cool lesson today. We met a real war hero. Nice to meet you too, little man. Miss Lovelace, my mom says that she'll bring over the payment rations next month. She says she's behind in her other payments. Does that make any sense to you? It makes sense, but it's not really okay. Well, just tell her I'll drop by sometime. Okay, see you later. Yeah, I would ask for payment up front for those kids. Jesus, they're brats. You're a good teacher, Mina. Thanks, sir. I don't think you came all this way just to observe my lessons. Of course I didn't. I came to recruit you. For the Human Defense Department? Sort of. We're opening a new branch of schooling, the Reprogrammer Academy. The HDD is highly publicizing it to get volunteers interested, but this first class will be exclusive. What's the goal exactly? Take our brightest programming students and train them to be an elite strike force. If we don't have enough talented recruits, there's no way we're getting through their defenses. Why is Leon on the recruitment poster? Why is he on every recruitment poster the HGD makes? He inspires people to put their lives on the line, that's for sure. Who knows, maybe he'll even stop by one day, a chance to meet Leon Morgenstern. But don't die of embarrassment, okay? I'll need you alive. I guess you know me too well. Well, I have to think about it. Mom's out of town right now, so I don't want her to come back to an empty house. Mina, this is a draft. What? Your performance will be instrumental in the next wave of attacks. You'll be put on the front lines of a mission to end the war once and for all. We'll be going to Silicon Valley? Yes, I know that may be disturbing to you, given the situation with your father all those years ago. Sir, why me? I don't think I'm really up to this challenge. I'm out of practice, frankly. You're too humble, and I think you know it. You're one of my best students at Central, and I need someone to drink with, too. I don't know why you left, and I expected something more than a desire to babysit kids, but you're being wasted here. Sir, we need you, or we don't have a chance. The end of humanity is no longer hypothetical. The end of humanity? I mean, that can't really happen. Let's not find out the hard way. I'm sorry, but you can't refuse. Pack a bag, and let's be on our way. But the kids in the house. Mom won't know where I've gone. I will leave a clue for your mom. I won't tell her exactly, because that would be too easy. I want her to think about it for a little while. You know, have a little bit of a pained expression and stuff. Because I'm a cold-hearted bastard. No choice, huh? Alright, I guess. Mom would be happy to know I was doing my part. Won't she? I'm sure she will. We get some things together, of course. It's what you would do, right? You would never give up if you thought you could help the world. Still, I hate to leave so suddenly. I wish there was a way I could contact Mom. Oh, Mom's necklace. She asked me to leave notes on it while she was out on her mission, but I haven't been using it. She'll record what happens to me at Reprogrammer Academy. Then when I meet up with her later, she'll know exactly how my training went. It's not as good as delivering mail home, but it'll have to do. Okay, Leon, let's go back to the real world. Hope I haven't gotten too rusty. Guess I should just bring this one poster. Wouldn't want to give others a weird impression. All I have to do is not look stupid in front of the other recruits. Not be a huge creep if Leon Morgenstern is actually there for a few hours. And not to die in the war. Tall order. Mina, are you even packing in there? Let's get going. Sorry, sir. I'll be ready in a minute. Okay. This is interesting. First full day of training. I don't want to be late, but if I'm going to make the habit of writing a letter to Mom every day, I better start now. Dictate letter. Mom, I'm talking to you from Reprogrammer Academy. I borrowed your dictation necklace. Looks like I'll finally have something interesting to talk about. Headmaster Bogart came by the house and forced me to leave. I didn't have a choice because it was a military order. Don't worry, I secured the house before I left. I don't know when I'll be back. Sorry. After I packed, I was blindfolded and escorted into a transport unit. Why would they blindfold you? They want me to know where the academy was located. But you'll find out one way or the other. It was a little scary, but the military officers were nice and made small talk the whole time. Turns out we're based in an abandoned theme park. I mean, how many abandoned theme parks could there be? In California. Near Silicon Valley. I mean... Since you and me never had a chance to visit one, I have to admit I'm curious to explore it. Anyways, today's orientation, I don't know what to expect. I'm pretty nervous. I think Leon never gets nervous before a public event, blah, blah, all this stuff. I'll keep recording messages for you. I won't be able to send them. All that stuff. Okay. Hotels divided into vertical towers named after famous books. I guess that's why the lobby looks like a library. There's so many books. Maybe I'll get some reading done. What is this music? What was that about? I guess I better get going too. Let's see. So the hotel is at the front of the park here. That's where I am now. Okay. You have to walk through the lobby to get to the rest of the park. Let's meet the rest of the group in the theater for orientation. Okay, here we go. Oh, it's built to look like the Globe Theater, like where Shakespeare performed. Wait, are we supposed to be on stage or something? Like acting? I really, really, really hope not. Is that you, Mina? I haven't seen you since university. Dwayne, how are you? Doing okay. Can't believe you're here. What have you been up to? Oh, I've been back home with my mom. I teach programming survival skills to the kids in my neighborhood. I brought you to Reprogrammer Academy. You're a mathematician. Math is still my one true love. I was doing some intense formula stuff for the Human Defense Department, actually, and they transferred me to this. Cool project, isn't it? Yeah, maybe. Dwayne, by any chance, is Peter here too? He is. I think he's inside already. Want me to let him know you're here? Actually, how about we pretend I'm not here for now? Alright, I'm sure he'll be glad to see you though. That was a long time ago. Unless he's in one of his moods or something. Great. As you're coming into the theater, please find an empty hack slate. I'm going to be doing a little warm-up exercise to start the day. Prepared a few coding puzzles that also cover a few simple rules about the program. We gotta split up for now. See you later. Good luck. A little warm-up, huh? It's like the hack slate we use at home. But I'm a student now. Well, the faster I finish this, the better, I suppose. Okay, let's do this. I don't have to stress out. They just want to know what I still have in my head. So I'll do my best and not worry about it. So these puzzles are based on facts about the Reprogrammer Academy. The headmaster is having us fix algorithms, sets of instructions that need to be followed to solve problems. It looks like the first one is an if statement. Let's see. So we want something to happen only in certain situations. Tell the program what situation or condition will cause it to happen. You always have a condition in parentheses at the top and curly braces around the results. Sort of. In this case, I should fix that punctuation. I hope they're not going to just limit me to punctuation, because this is going to get really old really fast. That and that. Great, it worked. It's coming back to me. I just got to get through it. This one is missing something from the condition, but since the rest is filled in, it should be easy to figure out. If I look at what's between the curly braces, I can figure out what the condition should be. Whatever it is between those parentheses has to be equal to true in order for it to execute. If I remember correctly, the headmaster's office hours are from 1300 to 2400 hours. That should help me solve this problem. Alright, well the start time is 1300, so we want this to be greater than or equal to Or I guess just greater than. Sure. Alright. Fine. He won't be there at exactly 1300. He'll be there 1 minute later. Office hours are open. True if current time is... Oh wait, I'm sorry. This is equals. That's what's going on here. They're saying a variable. If current time is greater than or equal to, right? Are they going to give me that? No. Office hours start time. Office hours are open equals true. Okay, fine. This is actually really bad programming. I hate to point this out, but if you do this shit, I'm gonna ream you a 1. Because, first of all, so office hour start time you're setting to 1300, which is fine. You're doing military time, fine. But then you're saying office hours are open and you're setting it to default to true, right? And then you're doing an if to say if the current time, which I assume is set somewhere else up here, is greater than office hour start time, you're setting that boolean to true. This boolean will never be false because nothing ever sets it to false. This should be set to false, and it should only be true if this is true. Well, and technically there should be another if that says if it's less than 2400, but obviously we haven't gotten to that part yet. So, bad. Bad developer. Bad. This should be false here. Not true. Anyway. Mina, you doing good over there? I hope so. Well, I know so. How do you like the hack slates? After I saw you teaching those kids, I was inspired to set up our own puzzles just like yours. This is your mother's dictionary feature, right? Very useful. Yeah, it is. That's great. Keep at it. I'll see you later. Okay. Can't be many more, right? No, I refuse to be stretched out here. I'm doing fine. This one is different. Oh, I see. They're calling a function within the if statement. When there's open and close parentheses next to a word you don't know, it's probably a function. Probably. I'll just leave it at that. You can make your own unique functions and name them almost anything. Functions are helpful if you're going to call the same code many times or you want to organize your code better. Functions have parentheses, just like if statements do. They can be empty or have a variable or other value, like a number. Functions use parentheses to send information into the function. So it's different from an if statement, which uses them to determine if a condition is true or not. In this case, if a student wants to get a lot of warnings, what should happen? So the student wants to get a lot of warnings, they said? So, okay. Expel student. Expels the student. No, you don't want that. You want if student warnings is less than or equal to 1, you want to reward the student. Yeah. I mean, I guess really it should be 0 probably, but I guess everyone's entitled to 1 warning, I suppose. And if they have greater than or equal to 10, we're not on a 3-strike thing here, then you would expel them. Oh, I passed the semicolon. Yeah. Okay, 1 puzzle left, if you can call these puzzles. Well, this is interesting. So in this one, a function is being used inside of a condition. The is student and is faculty functions take in a variable of the type person, and they return true or false depending on whether the person is a student or a faculty. Person with a capital P is the class used to represent someone, and person is the variable name. Just like before, the if condition has to be true for the if statement to happen. I have a pretty good idea how to solve this. Oh, good. I'm glad. If is student morning check-in 900. If is faculty person morning check-in 800. So if is student person, then they have to check in at 9 o'clock. If is faculty person, then they have to check in an hour earlier. Yeah. Okay. As you are finishing up, please come down to the front of the room. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Reprogrammer Academy. This used to be a movie theater that showed film adaptations of Shakespearean plays. Now it will be our headquarters. First, let me tell you how happy I am to have you here. I hand-selected all of you for this project, as well as our beverage of choice, Colt 45 Malt Liquor. You all have the makings of greatness within you, and that's exactly what you're going to need. I am Headmaster Lucas Bogart, formerly at Central University, and now a programming consultant for the Human Defense Department. I created the pair programming curriculum you will be learning. Oh god, pair programming? Gag me. Jesus. Really? You're going to teach kids about pair programming? Ugh. Ugh. I hate it so much. After we're done here, you'll be an elite force capable of ending this war once and for all. So, you may have noticed the peculiar location we've chosen for the Academy. I hope you'll enjoy Literacy Land during our stay. Made by a wealthy citizen that wanted children to be interested in classic literature, it wasn't a very popular place. I would imagine it isn't. Likely would have gone out of business if the world hadn't changed when it did. But as it was, the theme park was functioning when the first sentience wave hit, as is evident by the damage to the property. Of course, now reading is much more popular, so Literacy Land's mission was achieved after all. These are your instructors. The Bellini sisters have been training with me for months now and are ready to teach you everything they know. I trust them with my life, and I ask you to please treat them with respect. Say hello, ladies. Woohoo! Oh, hola! I'm Athena, and this here's my twin sister Minerva. As in, she's always getting on my nervous. Sheesh, you're starting this again? See what I mean? These two piloted the pair programming method we'll be using in our exercises. You won't be working on your own ever again. I'm going to ask you now to talk amongst yourselves and form groups of two. I see where this is going. Form groups of two? Oh no, this is the worst. I'm always afraid of being picked last. Then I end up sitting here freaking out until it comes true. Maybe I should partner with Peter. Then I'd actually have to work with Peter. Why can't we just work alone? It's just nothing to do but wait until the last remaining person approaches me about being on their team. I hope you have an even number of people. That's funny. It looks like a little like Leon Morgenstern, but it can't be. No freaking way. Headmaster said he might be here, but like for an hour. Why is he sitting in here? Can't possibly be one of the other students. No, he's not. He's just Where's Waldo. Oh god. This is the romance shit going on. Alright. I'm skipping through this shit. Sorry. Sorry if you like this kind of thing. I hate it. I hate it so much. I'm here for the programming, not for the awkward encounters. I get enough awkward encounters in my real life. Teamed up yet, blah, blah, blah. Would you be on my team? Yes, please. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff, great. Everything's awesome. He has that Where's Waldo scarf on. It's just driving me freaking up the wall here. Our final pair's over here. Great job, everyone. First 4 teammates, blah, 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 all that stuff. Yeah. I don't care. Really don't care. Super don't care. Definitely don't care. What's going on here? Sure, all that stuff. Courage, blah, blah, blah. Moving on. As if was the achievement. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. What did you do? Is there a fast forward? There was, yeah, to be fair, in the options menu, there was a skip text, which I kind of want to do. You know what? Can I do that? X speed. X mode skip. Yes. Roll out text. Okay, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Ah, there we go. That's much better. I don't have to do anything. I can just sit here and drink. Oh. Oh my god, I'm so glad I put that skip on. Holy crap, there's a lot of text. Exit with a smile. Okay. I assume it'll pause at the actual programming exercises. I am super glad I skipped all that. Holy crap, this is going on forever. Okay, now what are we doing? I don't know, because I didn't get the context. Storeroom is empty. Equals false. Then meal dot... meal... The storeroom is empty. If the storeroom is not empty, then go get a new meal. There you go. If meal is expired, send to trash meal. So if meal is expired is true, then send to trash meal. Meal equals null? Really? They're setting it to null so that it gets picked up by the garbage collector. Is that why they're bothering? Because most of the time you wouldn't bother. Yeah, they're clearing out a variable. Why? What would be the purpose of clearing out the variable? Other than to get the garbage collector to clean it up. But, I mean... So, one of the things here, and they have to be careful with this, because there's a lot of... I'm seeing... I get that they're trying to teach young kids like how to program, and I see what they're doing, like with the punctuation stuff, because that can be pretty intimidating. But they got to be really careful that they're not creating code that has code smells in it, right? And code smells are, I believe it was defined in the book Code Complete what code smells are, but basically it's when you've been writing code for a long time, you look at other people's code, you look at your own code, and as you're reading it, you're like, something seems off here, and we call it code smells. And if I was reading this code and I saw someone set an object, in this case a class, there's a class meal, which is an object. An object is an instance of a class, right? If I saw someone setting that to null, I'd be really concerned, because that to me says that they're going to try to reuse this again later on in this method. And variable reuse is a bigger code smell. It's one of those things where it's like, if you're using the same variable over and over and over again, it means that either your function's too damn long and it's doing too much, you're being really freaking lazy, which programmers tend to be lazy, or you're not giving variables, you're not declaring variables that are meaningful. In other words, you're you're getting into a pattern where you're declaring a variable that's like A. Here's variable A, and here's variable B, and here's variable C. So next time somebody comes in to look at your code, they're like, what the hell is variable A? What the hell is variable B? Right? Because you're making it so generic because you're too lazy to make the variable meaningful, like meal or student or something like that. Like earlier they had a class person, right? And it's like, would you have a class person or would you have a class student and a class faculty member? You know what I mean? Like, you know, is there, you would have a class person that was maybe a base class, and then you'd have these come off of it. But again, I mean, for starting programmers, it's forgivable. But something like this, and the one earlier where they were setting a variable to true all the time instead of to false, like it should have been. These are you're starting young minds off on a bad foot. You're making them write bad code for no good reason. You know what I mean? So that's my platform. What do you call it? My whatever. You know, my podium. If meal type equals soup. Okay, I'll let that slide, but that's not how you're supposed to do it. Meal utensil equals spoon. Otherwise, meal utensil equals fork. So, in this case, this is not the proper equality operator. Now, I get that they're not looking to be entirely proper here, but again, this is another one of those, like, people make this mistake all the time. Even veteran programmers make this mistake. I've made this mistake several times, where it's like you're doing an equality against a string, which is not correct. In some languages. Some languages it's okay. Most languages it's probably not okay. If this were Java, this would never work. This if statement wouldn't work because, well, yeah, no, this if statement it wouldn't necessarily work. It would be kind of iffy. It would depend on whether or not the string soup had been saved as a variable as a constant in the symbol table. Because Java, the compiler tends to throw commonly used things into a symbol table, and so something like this might actually work if you set meal type to soup, to the string soup, and it happened to be in the symbol table. Then you might get lucky and actually have the same object come back in memory. But what you're doing here is you're comparing objects, you're comparing address references, not the actual contents of the string. In Java, you would have to do meal.type.equals, and then in the parentheses, soup in quotation marks, in order to do an actual equality. Not this. What you're doing here is comparing memory addresses. But again, if soup happened to get elevated to being in the symbol table, and you happen to set it meal.type to soup to the same reference of soup that was in the symbol table, then this would actually work, but it's a fluke. It would work in a fluky way. You know, it wouldn't always work. But again, for the purposes of training, I guess this is one of those that you can kind of let slide, but it really should be. I hope they explain that this is not proper at some point here. Oh, we're eating stuff now? Great. do you find your way through a maze if you can only repeat one action? Always go to the, you know, always follow the same wall. Yeah. Uh-oh, we're in the staff only lounge together. Oh boy. It's heating up, friends. Meal that has meat equals false. They're still doing punctuation now. It would feel like we're beyond that by this point. But okay. If meal that has animal products equals true, then no, I'm sorry, false, because they setting meal that is vegan equal to true. If it doesn't have animal products, then it's vegan. Otherwise, they're saying it's vegetarian, so, I mean, okay. Well, I guess if it doesn't have meat, then it would be vegetarian, yeah, okay. So the meal doesn't have meat, it's vegetarian. If it has animal products, if it doesn't have meat and it doesn't have animal products, then it's vegan. That works. I'm surprised they're still hung up on the punctuation stuff though. I mean, I guess it helps to reinforce it, but still, we're pretty far along here. Station 1 contains vegetarian and vegan items. Station 2 contains everything else. If meal that is vegan or meal is vegetarian, send to Station 1. Whether the meal contains only vegan ingredients. Boolean property indicates... Wait. So send to Station... I don't know what's the second command supposed to be. Oh, meal? Oh, I see. Send to Station... Blah, 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 meal. Okay, you gotta send the actual object meal. Why would you do that? Like, why would you... Okay, for illustration purposes, I guess that's why they're doing it, but still. At this point, so this is a dispatcher, right? You're looking at the meal object and you're saying, who should handle the contents of this? You know, what should we do with this meal that just came in? And what they're saying here is you're sending it to Station 1, which, okay, that's fine. You're sending it to Station 1, I guess, for processing. Although, you know, I guess this is okay. I take issue a little bit with the sending the entire object back down again, but I guess if you're sending it as a signal to another process that's just sitting in memory, just processing certain things like a queue, then I guess it would make sense. All right. I begrudgingly allow it. So yeah, vegetarian and vegan items go to Station 1. Station 2 is everything else. Got it. Ring the cafeteria bell when both stations are ready. So if Station is ready 1, and Station is ready 2, more punctuation here, because, you know, that's a thing apparently. Discard. No, we want to ring the cafeteria bell when both stations are ready. Cafeteria ring lunch bell. Well, at least they made the programming things independent of all this text here. So I can at least figure out what they're trying to do without having to read all this crap. Oh god, everybody's getting rosy-cheeked. Nothing else will do, eh? After 5. Is that a giant whale? It is. Oh, we're talking about for loops now. Okay. Cool. Standard C and Java for loops. Okay. Schedule maintenance on any station with low pressure. Okay. So I is 0, I is less than 6. Semicolon I plus plus. They don't have a less than or equal to, right? No, okay. Station gets station I. If the pressure is less than 10, schedule maintenance. All on that station. Got it. Check all the pipes for leaks and schedule maintenance as needed. So I equals 0. I is less than number of pipes. I plus plus. So get pipe I into pipe P. If P is leaking, P is leaking equals leak test. So call leak test on P, and if it's leaking, then return a boolean and set that to P is leaking. Again, this is... they're stretching it a bit here. Basically, they're sending the entire object into leak test to return a boolean, which then they're setting into the object that they sent into leak test in the first place. Fine. If P is leaking is true, schedule maintenance on P. Okay. Sure. Alright, well, at least they're getting into looping and stuff now. That's good. Alright, here we go. Inner loops. Okay. Write an algorithm to fill all the barrels in all the water stations. Fill 5 barrels at the 6 water stations. Okay, so I equals 0. I is less than 6. That's 5, because programmers start counting at 0. So 0 to 5 is 5. No, it's 5. Yeah. I'm starting at 0. No, it's 6 water station. No, I was right. So 6, yeah, 5. Blah, blah, blah. We want 6 water stations, so that's the stations up here. And then down here, we want int j equals 0. J is less than 5, which is actually 0 to 4 is 5. J plus plus. Barrels get fill. Boom. See if they have another programming thing in this chapter, or is it just all chatter? Oh, here we go. How can you determine how many outfits Jackie has? That's a random question. How can you determine how many outfits Jackie has? I feel like I'm missing context here. It's like add the group totals, which you would think would give you the number of outfits. Multiply the group totals is not going to get you the number. Well, no, multiplying wouldn't get you the number. I mean, you just want to know how many outfits she has, right? So the group total would be, you would just add them up, and that's how many outfits she has, right? Get the lowest common multiple. Sounds like the right answer, but that's obviously gotta be add the group totals, right? See, I don't have the context of what they were actually talking about. It was multiply, I guess. I mean, if you have 5 groups, if you have 5 groups of clothing, and you know the total number of clothing in each group, you would just add all the totals together to get the number of whatever. Oh, we're doing 4 each loops now. Oh, cool. Close the valves to the rides and open the valves to the restrooms. Okay, if type equals ride, then close. If it equals restroom, then open. Make sure all chores are assigned to a person. While maintenance list is empty, equals false. Chore maintenance list dot remove. Right. Assign chore to Athena, and then do that. Yeah. So while it's not empty, loop over. So now they're doing while loops, which is good too. That should work. Direct all drinkable water stations to the cafeteria and coffee house. So station number is set to 0, number of stations is 6. So while station number is... minus the number of stations. Yeah, that'd be true. Get the station by a station number if it's drinkable. If check water quality is drinkable, is true, because you don't have to say true here. You can just say if is drinkable, since it's a Boolean. Delivered water to the cafeteria and the coffee house. Station number plus equals 1. Or you can just do plus plus. Right? So, yeah. I don't know what's going on. All I can tell is the music is just changing constantly. Oh, achievement unlocked, keep me in the loop. Alright, we're gonna pause here, friends. Yeah, what's notes? Oh, really? Oh, they're showing you the actual coding things that you did. Ah, cool. Yeah, we're gonna stop here. Can I get back to the main menu? Here's a question. Yes, there we go. Okay, friends. This has been Code Romantic. It is by Pretty Smart Games. It's released out on Steam right now for 10% off at $9 US, normally $10 US. Is it a good training tool for teaching like young people who have never programmed before the concepts of programming? I think so. It kind of belabors itself a little bit with like punctuation and stuff, but I guess it's trying to reinforce some of that, so I guess that's okay. It puts a little bit more emphasis on the punctuation than probably it ought to, but you know, whatever. I mean, once you know what something looks like, you just know to always make it look like that. So I don't know that they have to belabor that quite so much. Some of the code does introduce some bad practice, but again, it is meant for people starting out, so I guess it's okay from that perspective. Kind of disappointed. Like they've made it all multiple guess, you know, like multiple choice. It's like you just kind of just keep clicking until the thing is there, which I suppose would take some of the frustration out of it. If you really didn't know how to code, it would be nice to know that at least one of these things was going to work. You just have to find the right one. So I guess from that perspective, I guess it does take some of the frustration out. For me, it makes it extra frustrating because I know what I'm doing. So, you know, I guess, you know, I was kind of hoping it would be just a free form editor, like, go make this happen, and here's the calls to make it. Like, okay, cool, I can do that. But it's all basically, you know, pseudocode. Just make the pseudocode syntactically correct. It's basically just making sure you know syntax, essentially, which is fine. I mean, that is a noble goal anyway. There is a weird sort of backstory that's kind of a little bit intriguing, where it's like robots have taken over the world and they're scary and they eat children, and now you're learning to program in order to stop them from wiping out the human race, which is kind of a weird flex, I guess. And you know, of course, there's the whole awkward romantic, almost dating simulator-esque stuff going on there. It's not really a dating simulator. It's more visual novel stuff. You know, I'm not a huge fan of those, so I can't really. That kind of makes it a very hard sell for me, in particular. But that said, if you are, I feel like people who want to learn how to program but hate visual novels, like this game is pretty heavy-handed on the visual novel stuff. It seems like it's like they had a story they wanted to tell, but they needed some sort of gimmick in order to make it have some user input. You know what I mean? Like they have a specific story they want to tell, but then they were like, "Oh crap, we don't actually have anything for the user to do other than to sit here and read. So we better give them something to do." And then they kind of just threw the programming stuff on top of it, and they've done a decent job of the programming concepts anyway. But it's like you'd spend if I hadn't skipped all that stuff, like even when I skipped all that stuff, some of those sequences in between the programming things were like 5 to 10 minutes long with just pages and pages and pages of text. So I don't know. It's a weird hybrid. I've seen a lot of different hybrid programming teaching games, and this is certainly the weirdest that I've seen, I would say. Because you're not really... Here's the thing, you're not really teaching people how to code in this game, you're teaching them syntax. Whereas other programming games that I've played, where they're like structured as puzzle games, they're actually teaching you how to think like a programmer, which I would argue is the more important concept than the syntax. You can learn syntax all day, every day, but if you don't know how to think like a programmer who is solving a problem, then that syntax does you no good. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a weird thing for them to focus on, was just the focusing on the syntax kind of thing. That's why I'm like, I wish they had just made a freeform editor and said, go write the code. Here's the functions to call in the notes, and just write the damn code, you know? Because then you're forced to like put your knowledge into practice. You know, you're forced to think like a programmer. You're forced to write code that'll actually work, and then they have to execute the code and see it actually happen, you know? Which a lot of other games, most other programming games I've seen do far better than this. So, yeah, it's a weird one. It's a real weird one. I'm not sure that this... I feel like this is a niche upon a niche upon a niche kind of thing. Like, this is like super, super, super niche, what they've done here with this. So, but I mean, that said, there's nothing wrong necessarily with the programming stuff, other than teaching people bad habits in some cases. It's just because the code is written and all you're really doing is guessing at what the next pieces are, you're really just reinforcing syntax. You're not enforcing thought. Is what comes down to there. They do have those little sort of puzzle things in the middle there where they like ask you a question, an open-ended question with three answers. But those don't work as well as those programming things, because if you do what I did and skip a lot of dialogue, you have no idea what the hell they're talking about. You know what I mean? It's at that point you're just guessing as to what they're talking about. And also, the answer to that last one seemed very suspect and weird, because I don't know how they phrased it so that it would make sense that you would multiply those groups together. So they must have thrown some weird edge case in there to make that true that way. But anyway, I wonder if does this just take me here? Yep. But anyway, this has been Code Romantic. As I said, by Pretty Smart Games. It's 10% off right now on Steam for $9 US, regularly $10. As always, I will leave links down in the description so you can do your own due diligence. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I will see you next time.